We interrupt what you're watching right now to bring you this exciting story.
Poor soul cried out for help. And he simply nobody wanted to get involved. Nobody.
Set it off. Right, come and check it out. Golden Debate Show. Yeah, the Golden Debate Show. Wow. Let me up to the Golden Show. Tone's card is officially down. So let's get it in. Golden Debate Show. We're about that comedy shit. Download. Wow. Let's set off my man. Top him 7 first. Then do got my man 2 Minute News from YouTube. We're going to check him out a little later. Golden Debate Show, what up?
Trouble getting the gold. It's being bought so quick.
The illusion of choice. It's probably the biggest illusion out there in front of all of our eyes. I wanted to share with you here some work by Dystopian Resistance and some of the graphs that he's put together.
God,
as you can see
down
here,
in one of those catacombs, there's other guys that they look like, I don't know. This don't make no sense to everybody.
By 2011, that same 90% was controlled by only 6 companies, and you're looking at them. All of you have seen these names before, familiar with all of them. Time Warner, CBS, Viacom, Disney, News Corp, and GE. That shows you the global domination by a handful over billions.
This is science.
Check this out. When you want to talk about the illusion of choice, you can see right here that all of these different brands funnel back to the same Big 10 companies. All of them there. Now, when going on, and I'll leave a link so you guys can check out all this stuff, you can see that only 232 media executives control the information of 277 million Americans. That's one media exec to every 850,000 subscribers. That's enough to buy every NFL team 12 times, and 5 times the government bailout of General Motors. You can also see here 10 large American financial institutions that hold 54% of America's total financial assets. And all of you should be familiar with these names: Citigroup, JP Morgan, Bank of America. And look at this in comparison to the population ratio of civilian employment that has dropped, and the Reserve Bank's credit that has skyrocketed. Absolutely ridiculous. Some of these charts and numbers are mind-blowing. And that's just the point. You need to see them. Realize what's really going on out here. This is a good one. Cereal box psychology. Why is Captain Crunch looking down at my child? Well, as the studies show, a lot of these are set up and designed to do just that. Catch the attention of the child, of the buyer. As you can see, the more adult brands are put up on a higher level and designed to make eye contact with an adult range. The kids are always put on the lower shelves, and they put them on the shelves in such as to where they're either looking up at them or looking right at them, in a sense, to catch their attention. And it just goes to show how far they will go to grab your mind. This is a good one here showing the seed industry all the way up to 2008, and you can see the giants.
Man, for Master Quest 7 Beaumont breaks down shit. Pretty interesting.
They're having trouble getting the gold. It's being bought so quick.
Especially with occultists and people that were in secret societies. If you notice that everything is very repetitious, there are specific rituals, there are specific times, specific times of the year and daylight and nighttime and all these different specifics, and so that lets us see that that's what a blueprint is. That's
there's other guys that they look like, I don't know.
Something that
this don't make no sense to everybody.
Step of the way is already dictated, and of course this creates something like a robotic or very repetitious type person. But that is what the industry chooses to work on now. And we're talking about music industries. We're talking about spiritual industry, financial industry, all of them working on the blueprint. And I started noticing that, especially within the secret societies, that the blueprint that they were using was the Tetractus. which is basically spitting out the number 6. And I started seeing very deeply into exactly how you really have a pyramid scheme. They've actually named that term properly, the MLM, if you understand what M, L, and M mean Kabbalistically, but the pyramid scheme of how these industries are set up is basically giving full reign to any of their adherents. These are, of course, secret society people that are involved or initiated, but giving them full reign over whatever they want to do as long as they stay in the blueprint. And then, of course, the reason for this is because if they build for better lack of words, a microcosmic pyramid inside of a macrocosmic pyramid, still all of what is developed in that microcosmic pyramid the energy will eventually go into the macrocosmic pyramid. So this is basically why you see in television and you see in the industry so many traps, because it's basically a free for all. For better lack of words or lack of better terms, for individuals who are joining these societies and then just taking these blueprints. And obviously you can see what the blueprint is saying overall, which is what the blueprint that the society is choosing to incorporate, which is basically drain energy. It seems to be okay if a person goes out and does things that overall equals death for individuals. And so obviously the blueprint for the industry is death. When you start doing things that are bringing life,
cried out they have watched as he simply
What difference a good man?
Nobody wanted to get him. Nobody.
Those who are not going by a blueprint at all are basically thinking outside of the box. And so I really want people to take that knowledge and that information and to see exactly what it means. As I said, the blueprint for a 5 is a pentagrammaton, which is 5 or 10. And the blueprint for a 6 is a tetractys, and which is 6 or 12. And then the revolutions of those numbers. And to start noticing in the reality. And I had a clip that I wanted to play today. I just couldn't get it to the sound to play. Maybe I'll try to transfer it over during break time. But actually, yeah, I'll probably transfer it over. But there's one particular part in this new movie. It's called Upside Down.
Getting the gold. It's being
and
locked
I started noticing a lot of between recent movies such as this movie Upside Down.
Also, we can't ignore the fact that on Saturday, CNN broadcast a video statement from Richard Martinez. Richard Martinez is the father of one of the 7 victims who was killed in the Friday shooting spree at the end of the barrel of a gun held by Elliot Rodger at the University of California, Santa Barbara campus and nearby. And in that statement, he said very clearly that he thinks the NRA, as well as the entire pro-gun agenda, is in part responsible for the shooting that took place. This is the video, uncut, at least this part of it. Take a look.
Okay.
Chris was a really great
this
kid.
Is science.
Ask anyone who knew him. His death has left our family lost and broken. Why did Chris die? Chris died because of craven, irresponsible politicians and the NRA. They talk about gun rights. What about Chris's right to live? When will this insanity stop? When will enough people say, stop this madness? We don't have to live like this. Too many have died.
Fox News did not air that part. Now, the entire statement was only a little bit over a minute, Lewis. And you could, I guess, if we were to completely remove ourselves from the empirical reality of Fox News and the pro-gun agenda, say, well, maybe Fox just didn't have time for that part. But I think that anybody in their right mind, anybody who understands what Fox News has been doing when it comes to guns and many other issues over the last decade.
The Joe Rogan Experience. Check it out. Joey G. Break it down.
Joey Rogan,
bring it out.
It's staggering.
More
than 90% of all these mass killers are on SSRIs or are coming off of SSRIs. And I definitely don't think that the SSRIs are killing people. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that SSRIs are bad for you. And obviously, I'm not qualified to judge. I have zero medical background. I barely understand vitamins. I barely understand what the fuck I'm talking about. But I think that you got to look at the possibility that something that makes everything okay for you is also gonna make everything okay as far as like your actions, like things that you do. And I think if you have anger and you have psychotic thoughts and you have, you know, a lot of like frustration at the world, and something comes along that makes your actions okay, I think there, in a lot of ways, there's got to be some sort of correlation there. I'm not saying that, you know, people should stop taking antidepressants, because we both know guys who have taken it and it's fucking changed their life. And all of a sudden they're cool to be around. They're like way happier. I mean, anything that makes you way happy, I'm totally down for. But there is a connection. It's pretty undeniable. And it's not. It doesn't necessarily mean it's causal. Like taking the medication has caused these people to act in this way. Not necessarily, but I have a good friend that was murdered by someone who was on antidepressants. You know, so it's real shit. I don't know.
Isn't the idea it becomes a chicken or egg kind of conversation, right? Because if you're
down
crazy,
in one of those
odds are you're going to have been
catacombs,
referred to.
there's other guys that they look like. I don't know. This don't make no sense.
When I was a kid, when I was a very young, when I was 12, 13 years old, I was on that stuff.
Wow, that seems really young.
It was really, it was a big mess. But I felt it in a bad way, sort of coursing through my body at all times. I could definitely, you can feel when you know, the finger of God is poking into your brain and kind of like mushing around, being like, well, maybe, you know what I mean? It's like you can feel your body like not responding or responding, I think. You know what I mean?
Responding to the medication. Why'd they have you on it at such a young age?
Well, I was like a juvenile delinquent, you know? So I was like...
You look like a fucking juvenile.
I know, yeah, with the big swooping pompadour and stuff.
If your hair was shinier, I wouldn't trust you at all.
Yeah, you know, the classic unhappy youth with the big glasses.
And 1950s movie.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was a troubled kid.
Switchblade. Leather jacket.
Yeah, no, I was in the Jets.
What did you do that you were troubled so much so that they wanted to put you on medication?
Well, this is actually what we were talking about before. Like I went to rehab when I was like 13. For 12, 13 years old, I went to I was in and out of rehab that whole time, and I got sober when I was 15. And I was on my way here listening to your episode with Aubrey
DeGray.
No,
a different one. No, that's Aubrey Marcus. Yeah.
The ayahuasca.
Aubrey DeGray is the actually the Aubrey DeGray thing. There's videos of it online. For folks who've been asking me about that. Yeah, the ayahuasca thing. Aubrey Marcus.
Yeah, so it's it really made me think, like, every time I hear, and I've known about your sort of philosophical bent towards the world as psychedelics are a sort of, a freedom lifesaver kind of thing.
It can be.
Yeah, and I was thinking, as a person that's been clean and sober that long, it's been a long time.
Right. How old are you now?
I'm 34.
Yeah, so 20 years.
So 20 years.
Almost so sober already.
So when I hear that kind of stuff, I think to myself, like, this is unfair. That I'm not, that I have somehow my life path has placed me in some sort of position where these sorts of things, because I was taking mushrooms and acid when I was 12 years old. Not exactly the time when you're like looking for spiritual enlightenment.
Right, you were just trying to get fucked up.
Yeah. Or a hand job or something like that. You know what I mean? And I'd listen to that dude. It's undeniable, the truth of what he's saying. Like that
Uncle
he was
Adam
having
and Uncle John, the No Agenda Show.
They got $250 million in cash from donations and God knows where from. The couple of headlines. Shooting suspect Elliot Rogers' misogynistic post points to motive. Elliot Roger is La Vista shooting suspect posted racist messages on misogynistic website. Misogynistic video before attack. And from this has come a hashtag, which is yes, all women. And how this is playing out is because women wouldn't give him sex, he went to go kill women, which, of course, women were in the minority of the victims here.
Why did he kill any guys at all?
Well, he said he was going to kill the guys that loved these women who wouldn't give him love and sex.
Yeah.
But for this immediately to be grabbed this way as the war on women.
Okay.
Yep, you got it. So we have.
Yeah.
Now also, why does the press not, typically they'd be all over the type of weapon. Also, and however,
yeah, they were preoccupied with the Sandy Hook thing, even though they were always wrong about it. But they described the weapon in great detail, Bushmaster, and they had pictures of it, and it was easily available. They would give you availability statistics about the gun.
Yep.
And they tend to be very. They did the same thing with the guy that was in Los Angeles, the cop that was shooting cops, and then he burned him to death. And they had all his weapons somehow to get through the fire without singeing. And they had this very, they made a big deal about the weapons, the specific weapons.
Where, by the way, are the iPhone videos? Where's everybody's iPhone video of this? I'm looking at it. I can't find it. Are you kidding me? There's got to be some video. This guy was at 10 different locations.
Yeah, and usually when he wrecked, after he was shot or shot himself and wrecked and he was handcuffed, there should be people around there.
Yeah, I haven't found
and
him
half
yet.
of them be shooting videos.
He's the son of a Hollywood director. So he really has only done 2 movies. One is he was the second unit director on Hunger Games. And then he also did in 2011, I think, he did his own movie called Oh My God, which is it's kind of a documentary type movie where he went around the world. He interviews people about religion. And then he's done a ton of commercials, including the, what was that? Remember the PBA? This is no good. The one about the laughing syndrome.
Question is, did he shoot himself or was he shot by sheriff's deputies? It would appear as though he took his own life.
Hello, everybody. We're going to walk in there.
Can't be regular. Can't be routine.
Here's the smoothest one.
What's going on, guys? How are you, sir? Nice to see you. It's good to be out. I bet. The bear is loose. You didn't expect to have all these folks taking pictures? It's for your birthday? Happy birthday. You're having a good visit? Thank you. Thank you. How you doing? How's business? Business doing all right?
Yeah, business is all right.
What's your name?
My name is Han.
Good to see you. That was my mother's name, so I like it. We appreciate his service.
Science.
I'll tell you what.
Shut up
Where you guys
already. It's science.
Well, it'll be a wonderful ceremony. Yeah, my grandfather was buried in the National Cemetery in Sydney, and I still remember the ceremony and the flag and the tabs. Still chokes me up every time. What's your names? Cora. Cora. You're Cora? How old are you, Cora?
7.
7, and what's your name?
Here he is, my man, 2 Minute Dude from YouTube. Hey, Full Spectrum Dude. What up?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of News in 2 Minutes, bringing you the news that you need to know every day. Let's begin. Leaders of Brazil's indigenous tribes have joined with anti-government protesters to voice their disagreement with legislature that aims to shrink the size of land reserved for indigenous people in an ongoing threat to modernize self-sustaining and heritage-rich cultures around the world. Indigenous protesters are reported to have fired arrows and thrown projectiles at police in riot gear, leading to increasingly violent confrontations between the groups and a cancellation to a governmental exhibition for the World Cup. A battle between pro-Russian separatists and Ukrainian military forces is intensifying in eastern Ukraine in the fiercest outbreak of civil fighting that the country has seen to date. Sources within the country note that Ukrainian military forces are waging a full offensive against well-armed militants in the city, and that the structured military continues to find it difficult to defeat an enemy that closely resembles ordinary civilians, with activists fearing a drastic increase in civilian casualties in the near future. Forecasters are warning that heavy flooding is expected across East England, causing officials to urge those in the affected regions to prepare for power outages, torrential wind and rain, and evacuation if necessary. Officials are investigating reports of another landslide in Colorado, causing authorities to close roads and issue widespread warnings throughout the state that unstable land may become increasingly affected by prolonged wet conditions, making multiple areas unsafe for travel. Health officials in Sierra Leone are searching for a patient that is confirmed to have contracted the Ebola virus but has left the hospital, possibly spreading the deadly disease throughout the populated area around the medical center and causing authorities to call for increased security around those suspected of infection. The World Health Organization is confirming that at least 5 patients have succumbed to the virus in a move that signals the expansion of ground space affected by the disease and causing international health authorities to warn that the virus appears to be spreading outside of current control measures. Experts are warning that the creation of a chemically induced wall of ice, which will house enormous amounts of toxic coolants, may cause dangerous levels of sinkage in the land surrounding the Fukushima nuclear site and could lead to a lack of structural integrity and the inevitability of further catastrophic radiation releases.
I don't know!
Images from NASA's Terra satellite shows the continued land consumption of a wildfire growing across Alaska. A family cluster of the H7N9 variation of the avian flu is being reported in the Shandong province of China, and a 5.3 south of Fukushima, followed by a 5.1 in Iran, and tremors seen across Nevada, Oklahoma, and California completes today's Quake Watch.
Here's
That's it for this episode.
Because those people are emulated and looked up to.
Popeye got a podcast.
And not thinkers.
This is science.
Keeps you go.
Philosophers. Scientists.
Sports is a big distraction.
Firefighters. EMTs. Real heroes. No. No.
Is he going to save the world, though?
So we have to get our brains back from the level of being okay with things like Jackass or in the movie Idiocracy, kick my balls. It's the same thing. If you watch that movie, I'm telling you, I use this visual all the time, and I use the reference of the movie Idiocracy all the time because we're living in it. Go watch the movie. It's on Netflix. Go get it. You have no excuse? I'm busy. Wait, you take it one night during the week to watch TV, right? Take that night, and it's a homework assignment. I don't like homework, Popeye. I work all day. Well, if you want to save humanity, you're going to have to do some friggin' homework. Jesus. You bitch at your kids, right, when they don't do their homework. Seriously. Go watch the movie. You'll kind of laugh, too. It's funny a little bit, but it's really not so funny when you watch it. You realize that we're living in it. I want to get out of that. I don't want the morons to be reproducing and all the smart people not to have kids. No. I want the smart people to have children. Because I don't want to live in a world of morons. You will obey. And that's where we're headed. And parents, if you don't take an active role in raising your kids, that's another problem. You're letting the school raise them or the government because they
cried out for help. As he simply,
you're part of the problem.
Indifference of your good man. Nobody wanted to get involved. Nobody.
Part of the problem as the powers that shouldn't be that are doing it because you're doing exactly what they want you to do. On a mass level, from children to adults, we need to unretard ourselves. We need to unretard ourselves. And it's not over. A lot of people think, oh man, game over, a la Bill Paxton and Aliens. Game over, man, game over. No.
They're having trouble getting the gold. It's being
bought so quick. Game over. The fat lady has not sung yet. Sorry, I haven't heard any singing. And I don't know when to quit. Anybody that knows me personally knows that. I don't know when to quit.
Thank God! Down there in one of those catacombs.
It ain't over.
There's other guys that they look like. I don't know! This don't make no sense,
regulators, mount up. Get out there and do something. We still have a chance. Trust me, you'll know when it's too late. It ain't too late yet. You'll know when it's too late. They want you to think it's too late, the powers that shouldn't be. Ooh, be afraid. We're more powerful than you in every way, shape, or form imaginable.
Science.
I can control everything. I'm the great Oz. Pay no attention to that little man behind the curtain.
Don't hear that. I got this one too.
There's a time you gotta go and show you growing now. You know about the facts of life. The facts of life. When the world never ceases to believe in after you dream.
And they're not in order, so this is not going to be good. In ancient Egypt, the apricot was called the egg of the sun. That's pretty cool. The first Apple II CPUs, their hard drive had a capacity of 5 fucking gigs, dude. Your fucking phone got like 3 times that amount. The skin is the largest organ of the body. Some of them are duh. Since 1995, humans have been growing food in space. Space, the fertile frontier. The super mushroom in Mario is based on a real fungi. I was going to say it. I just should have. Now I stuttered. A real fungi. Not magic shrooms like you would think. It's actual shroom that makes you feel like you're growing. I'm not even going to try to say the word, but there are depictions of medieval knights fighting snails in ancient manuscripts, and no one knows fucking why, so you can actually Google that, and that's pretty interesting. Google medieval knights fighting snails, and there's mad pictures and documents and shit, and from manuscripts, I meant to say, not documents, and I don't know why the fuck they're fighting snails. Reptiles, sneaky snakes, probably. A pound of any combination of dimes, quarters, $half-dollar pieces is for $20. Nikola Tesla dreamed of the internet starting with wireless is fully applied to the earth, so he had a vision of wireless. He thought that it could convert the whole earth into a huge brain capable of response in every one of its parts. St. Louis was martyred and murdered by being roasted to death. Roasted on a gridiron. Supposedly after roasting, he said, "I'm done on this side, you may turn me over now," and then died. The church made him the patron saint of chefs and comedians.
They're having trouble
That's why they
getting
have
the gold.
a
It's
roast
being
when they
bought so
do
quick.
comedy. So that ain't good, though. They roasted the motherfucker. A coal power plant puts out 100 times more radiation in the air than a nuclear power plant. They produce the same amount of energy, but they don't want you to know that. In 1999, wow.
Down there in one of those catacombs.
North Carolina,
There's other guys that they look like, I don't know. This don't make no sense to everybody.
It was gold. Most bacteria and viruses disinfect off brass doorknobs automatically in about 9 hours. Our fingertips they prune. Do you know why? Because it's an evolutionary trait to grab stuff. The sun and the moon appear to be the same size because the moon is 400 times smaller but 400 times closer. Tigers, leopards, and jaguars like the sun of Calvin Klein's obsession for men because the sun is used to attract animals to cameras out in the wild for cameramen. The word font for CPU's letters is really called typeface. So it's not a font. It's a typeface, so that's something that they just let y'all slip. Sunflowers can help clean up waste, even radioactive waste, in its stems and leaves, not the flowers, and that's why they're the international symbol of nuclear disarmament. Mosquitoes like kids, blondes, and type O more than, and they're more like, twice likely to be bitten. Every day 20 banks are robbed. The average take is 2,500. And I'm about done with the fucking facts. I always like to have fun with shockingtimes.co.uk. Woman attacked by crazed high elf. A woman in Portland, Oregon, USA was shocked when she came under attack in her car from a high elf. A man dressed in chainmail and a helmet and wielding a sword attacked the woman as she was sat in her BMW. Police were called as originally the woman believed that she was under attack by a pirate. However, when the woman arrived and realized that she was mistaken, she actually being attacked by an elf. Astonished treasure hunter finds $20,000 gold necklace on his lunch break. It's Sod's Law, isn't it? You find things when you're not looking for them, and that's exactly what happened to treasure hunter David Spurner when he decided to take his lunch break, having dug multiple holes in a Dorset cow field to no avail. David decided it was time to eat his sandwiches and head back to his vehicle when he got a signal, and buried under the soil was a...
Because of the obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments.
The ghost and the darkness have come.
He's here. You're listening to The Golden Show. All thoughts and opinions are solely that of the host, guests, and sources. It is only to keep free thought alive. Golden Show, earlymorningwild.com.
Yeah, what are you talking about? 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 All that talking like this, like that, all day in your hood. Golden Shows, Golden Roast. Astro lights, laser lights, look at my gold, tripping tonight, apple shit, one more, then talk it up, no he said, we're talking like this, talking like that, we're talking, Golden Debate Show, Golden Debate Show, Golden Debate Show, we like this, we're talking hood, draw the line, MC better talk with their chat, you know we're coming out the best, Golden Show, Golden Robes, Golden Boss, Golden